Okay, on with me, Hrishikesh Karan, Wahi. How are you, bro? I haven't seen you since Hate Story. All well?
There's a lot of love after hate story. That's why probably you've not seen me. But I'm good here. How are you?
Bro, as good as we can be in this lockdown. I mean, some of
I'm
us
sure.
are lucky enough to keep working. I'm one of them. The radio show still continues. We're still putting out content online, and you too, which is fantastic. I mean,
You have joined the bandwagon.
yeah, great. But there are disadvantages in it. There are no shift timings here. They can call you anytime, bro.
This is like my friends now joke about this कि बस यही रह गया था तेरे को करना. Anyways, you've done everything that has possibly been out there. But I think I wasn't hesitant at first because I didn't know that I'll have to do so much.
Yeah.
Uh, I'm actually it's actually a blessing in disguise that मैंने ज़्यादा सोचा नहीं about doing the show because uh, they came up with the concept. They told me there's something that you can do from home, and my only question was, can I add something to the show, like if I have to. Uh, they said it's your show, you'll have to shoot it. So I was like, yeah, ठीक है, easy होगा. But like you said, there are no shift timings. Though we try to, made this policy that we shoot, say, at a 9 o'clock shift or a 10 o'clock shift in the morning. So we mentally get up on time. But it's not just the shoot. It's, I think, the pre-prod that is the first thing that I've ever seen or done in my life, because I'm an actor and an anchor, and I actually usually when I do acting or anchoring, it's the almost final draft that you read. You don't create the draft.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
out here sometimes it's a lot of fun to create something that you'll eventually be saying, and if you get a positive feedback, you pat yourself. If you don't get a positive feedback, you learn something from it. So it's a lot of fun.
So do you have your own TV production house as yet, or
I
uh,
I don't I otherwise I'm a producer also.
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
producing some content with my partner Ritvik uh, and friend Ritvik Dhanjani uh, for the web. But as if right now we're shooting the show on the mobile phone.
yeah? That's fantastic. So the point I
So
was trying to make is, all of a sudden, all of us have now become producer material because we were only, I was anchoring on the radio, you were on
yeah,
TV, and this and that, and now because you've got to actually start creating. You've got to
yeah,
sometimes maybe sit on the edits, sometimes sit on the feel, like you said,
yeah.
conjure up stuff. This you already have a production house, but I'm just saying it's an ideal stepping
No,
stone
no, it's a very
to put out
ideal
there.
situation. I think it's also for people who always like, I was one of them. Uh, the reason I think Ritvik and I started the production house was because we kept on always talking about the fact that we want to create something good. कि अगर मार्केट में बहुत अच्छे अच्छा अच्छा काम है, but जरूरी नहीं है कि all the time it'll come to you. So if it doesn't, the work doesn't come to you, either you go to the work or you create something. So I think it's a very good time for everybody who's in the right space of mind. I'm not gonna say that it is important for everybody, because honestly, I've been saying this at every portal that this is a pandemic and not a productivity contest. Uh,
Correct.
so I feel if you think you're idle and you have nothing to do and you want to do something, uh, and if you are an artist or if you're from the creative fraternity, I think it's time we created a lot of things. Good, bad, ugly, बाद में देखेंगे, पहले बनाते हैं.
Yeah, very well said. Okay, it's streaming on Disney Plus Hotstar. It's called Home Dancer. It's got Karan doing his bang. He's so good. Your comedy, your bits of dancing. You're actually not a bad dancer, huh? But the way you make it out to seem saying, "Oh, how am I going to do this bone cruncher and things like that?" But it just adds to the whole flavor of it.
Yeah.
So, do you identify different parts of your house to do anchor links from?
Honestly, Rishi, it's this lockdown honestly has been a boon to me because I, I've been the kind of person who wanted to create a home. I wanted to make my house look like a home, so that when I come back from work or any time, I enjoy being at home. And this lockdown made me realize every inch of my house, uh, places that I had never ever chilled. Like you see, this is my bedroom. In the last 7 years of my living in this house, uh, probably have sat in my bedroom only 5 minutes before I used to sleep.
Wow.
And now I perpetually live here because I just love this newness about it. And yes, I do find different corners and angles. I will hold the phone like this or that, or I'll place it with 17 books so that I look nice. Then I go back, check the frame, and then I'm like, nah, one more. So it's fun.
And did production manage to deliver some ring lights or some lights for you, or we just had to do with
Nothing,
what we
yaar.
had?
I had a ring light actually, thanks to the social media generation that
Yeah.
it is. So I had just actually bought it a month before the lockdown happened, and I had not
Oh,
used it, and I was fretting, यार इसकी light बहुत तेज है, कौन use कैसे करूँगा मैं? And nothing else, yaar, could come. There's a piece of wireless earphones that have come, that they could send, because what's happening is a lot of things are not allowed in my building, and a lot of
yeah,
people are not allowed right now. So we had to make do with what we had.
correct. But under the given circumstances, it's absolutely fabulous. And these are judges who are doing exactly what you're doing. They're at home, they're chilling out. Let's talk a little bit about Sushant. Let's talk a little bit about Chandni,
Yeah.
an exciting duo. With television, you've got to try and keep the freshness in, despite having people who are experienced. I mean, you managed to do that through the years. You still look at a
Yeah.
Karan Wahi anchor shoot or a link and say, "Wow, man!" It's still got that freshness in it. But it's not an easy thing to do. Let's talk about your judges.
Thank you, first of all, for such sweet words. I think we artists eventually, I think, work for this only. What you just said in 5 seconds, I think makes a lot of difference, because if anyone can find even uh, 10% of me changing in every show, my job's done, because eventually anchoring at the end of the day eventually becomes very similar, because content uh, uh, completely, your anchoring completely depends on content. But when it comes to judges, I really, really like the aspect of Hotstar to get two fresh people, uh, who don't have too much of a baggage behind them. There is only love for the two of them. There are fans who love them for their respective work that they've done. Especially Street Dancer 3D came, and both of them were there. Sushant's been in ABCD, ABCD 2. So what they bring to the table is exactly what you said, is freshness. Uh, Also, I think what I like about my interaction with the two of them is we're exactly the same age, almost all of us. So we talk in the same way, because sometimes when we would anchor on TV, there's a certain lingo that you have to, keep in mind. I think that barrier, the web has broken, and I'm just glad, because in the initial days of the web, a lot of people still think that web ka matlab hai ki you can abuse or you can use cuss
Mm,
words or anything.
yeah, yeah,
I think web is way more than just that. I think web is all about, when we say show your true self, like you said ki you can dance, but how you show. But my perspective towards when I do it is that my audience, not everybody is a great dancer. uh,
sure.
I myself am not a great dancer. I'm not gifted, but if you put sit on my head and put a gun on my head, I will dance properly. But that's the first. This buffoonery is something that comes to me naturally. It's something not too much. So that's where the young generation of judges come in handy, because they can talk to you in a very relatable way. And I think people on the web today are actually looking for freshness. I hope I've been fresh for the last 16. I hope I can last another 16.
You know, what I also really appreciate about the participants, you're no stranger to participants from all over the country. I mean, you've done enough reality television to
Yeah.
know that it comes from small town India. There are lots of great talent from small town India, but you have production guys and creative people to control them. They're called to a place in Bombay. A lot of it is coaching, executing. Now, when you have a kid in Amravati or a kid in some satellite town, you're not going to be able to fly down a production person to brief that kid about how cool he'll look or not look.
Exactly.
So in that aspect, I think Home Dancer is really raw because of the lockdown. You can't have people coaching. The maximum you might have
Yeah.
somebody on the phone saying,
Yeah.
ke, aise kar, waise kar, but nobody can
Exactly.
actually get down there and spend time with them. And you must appreciate that a lot in terms of the participants you're getting.
I think it's fabulous. We when we started the show, this was the only fear that I think I also had personally. That will participants understand the entire perspective of sending a video? Because there are a lot of video portals and platforms that people dub or people talk about, the TikTokers, the Instagrammers, everything, everyone. But this is a completely different platform where you might be loved for a very completely different reason to what you think. So there was no calls, no messages to anybody, because eventually what happens is we get more than like 1,000, 2,000 entries probably for every uh, day that we put a picture or like a post about sending your participation links or whatever. And then the team jots down the best 10 that they like. Now those best can be dance, those best can be even the way you performed or the way you used your house. uh, it's not one particular element of dance. So that's what has made it so beautiful, because मतलब ऐसे ऐसे शहरों से लोग because I've shot the third episode yesterday. uh, I don't know these cities.
Yeah.
Like I've not heard about these places, and I was so happy about the fact that that's what the reach is then. So if that's what the reach is, uh, I think quarantine or lockdown, as we call it, is the best way for these people, these kids, these uncle, aunties, and people of all ages to uh, just be a part of this family. And let's hope we you win, because eventually I am not judging. The judges are actually not scoring. We tell them, you please put your video. Once you get selected, you will get a message that you are selected, and you go on Hotstar and you see who's getting more votes, and whoever gets the maximum votes wins. So it's I think it's really it's also probably a platform which will mentally help a lot of people who love dancing and who haven't been, who were fretting about the fact कि ओ अब लॉकडाउन हो गया है, शूट नहीं होंगे, रियलिटी शोज नहीं होंगे, तो अब हम कैसे आगे बढ़ेंगे. I think it's a beautiful platform for that.
Yeah, and what Karan is talking about is absolutely true. There is an auntie that I saw, I think in episode 1 or 2, who was actually doing a pocha move, which I thought
Yeah.
was really cool. She was bringing out the inner sexy in her. So, irrespective of what age you are, there's no age to dance. That's
Exactly.
lovely. Bro, this is also these are interesting times for you because there's a series. I think it's called. Is it called 100? Is that what it's
Yeah.
called? Uh,
100.
in which you're getting a lot of love. I remember when Vicky Kaushal did Manmarziyan, I asked him. I said, this guy is a DJ, and this and that, and he was honest enough to tell me that he modeled his character on a rapper called Sukh E at the time.
Okay.
So, you know, we know a lot of these guys. You see the Raftars and the Divines and the Badshahs and things like that. But ultimately, when you get down to doing it, did you have a model or an impression in your mind as to who this guy would be like, apart from, having about 70-80% of Karan Wahi?
Uh, I was very lucky when I auditioned for Maddie and finally got Maddie, that I was working with Raftar Paji.
Oh, wow.
Uh, Actually, Raftar Paji has collaborated with 100, and today our music video, the 100 music video, is also
Yeah, I saw
actually
that.
released.
Yeah, I saw
Uh,
that. Yeah.
So we've all done bits and pieces in it. But I think I was so lucky that he was there, and uh, I spoke to him about raps, and there were certain raps that I told him to write for me कि मेरे लिए ऐसा कुछ लिख दो. But वो इतना अच्छे raps थे जो उन्होंने लिखे थे कि मैं वो use ही नहीं कर पा रहा था. कि I was like, this is too good. Uh, Also, when I started shooting for Maddie, before I started shooting for Maddie, when I was prepping for Maddie, I've had a few friends back in school who were Jats. So I knew their innate tone, even if they used to speak in Hindi. तो उनका ना एक वो innate tone है कि भाई घना परेशान करने लग रहा है भाई क्या बात से. So it's they might just be asking क्या हो गया ठीक है ना तू, but their tone is that. So I think it helped me a lot. And then eventually, when I sat down with Raftar Baji, every time I used to, I made sure I had that concept in mind that Maddie is a very lovable character, a very hardworking boy, a boy with aspirations, uh, but maybe not as talented as people in today's time
Like
who
Raftar.
become viral.
Yeah.
Yeah, like Raftar are. So he might just be one of those viral sensations who goes viral for not the right reason, like for not the reason he wanted to go viral. And eventually that's what happens in the show. So I took those innate aspects of being a rapper, like Raftar Baji used to teach me, like, this aspect and how you have to do. मेरे से होती नहीं थी ये उंगली उंगली, तो then I used to like first do this, मैं उंगली जोड़ता था फिर ऐसा करता था. So small things, the cut, he told me, he's like काट दे इसको. I was like okay. The look of Maddie, but there was no one rapper in mind, because I was also scared कि यार अब ना गली बॉय आ गई है, अब सब लोग ना कहेंगे कि यार रैपर हो है, अगर आपको प्रोजेक्ट करना है रैपर तो ये रैपर है. बट आई थिंक गली बॉय वाज a very talented rapper. Maddie, on the other hand, isn't as talented, but you will love him, is what I was told when I was shooting for it. And I just put my energies into it, and I'm just happy that people have liked it.
It's more difficult to play a bad actor or a bad rapper. You would know that as an actor. That's quite cool. You know, when Ruchi Narayan used to work for Sudhir Mishra, she was assisting him. I used to do a lot of voiceovers for them, and then a sister did a documentary. I voiced that as a voiceover artist, which is my parallel career. And then I just lost touch with her. And all of a sudden, during Guilty, there was an interview with Kiara and herself, and I ended up reconnecting and chatting with her. What a phenomenal woman, man! And she should have been doing more films. I mean, I can't believe that in a career like that she's done like 2 now. So your experiences of just hanging with her, working with Ruchi.
I think the first time I met Ruchi, I actually didn't know that she was the lady who's doing Guilty, because I'd heard about Guilty coming on Netflix and could shoot ho raha hai, and I met her, and I think the one aspect that I have taken from her is your work is enough to speak for you. You don't have to go out there and tell the world about how good or how great you are. And when you meet her, she's just a normal working woman who's I think perpetually really sweet. Like there are some people who told me that तुमने रुचि का गुस्सा नहीं देखा, but I don't that I think that doesn't I never have seen that, and I don't think so. गुस्सा भी मतलब she's just too chilled out यार, मतलब so open as a director, so open to suggestions, so open to the fact कि listen, I have chosen you already. Now it's your job to do this work. If I have to spoon feed everything every moment, then why did I choose you from an audition? What I had to do there, and I think she's just such a blessing to work with. Yeah, all three of them actually. I've been directed by the Rat trio, Rat Films, Ruchi, Ashutosh, and Tahir. And I think all three bring such such great nuances to work, so different yet so streamlined. So it's so much fun.
And Tahir must have told you all his mithai wala stories.
Arey, Tahir and I actually hit it off because Tahir was supposed to do Maddie.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So he had said कि मैं अगर करूँगा, अगर नहीं मिला तो अगर मैं कोई रोल करूँगा तो मैं मैडी करूँगा. So our first conversation is below Rat Films का office. Then I also didn't know that Tahir is the Tahir who's the producer. Because Tahir to me is an actor that I've
Yeah.
met at so many parties. So it was fun. It was complete mayhem on the sets.
And I've always believed that, whenever you see Sushmita Sen, Lara Dutta, or Aishwarya Rai, you just go back to being a kid. You go back to being an adolescent boy when they conquered the whole world.
Yeah.
And, they were Miss World, Miss International, Miss Universe, man. How big is that? And, and again, she's a lady, isn't she? I mean, in every which way. Yeah.
I think
Top level Lara.
she's the etiquettes का अगर if etiquettes had a picture, lady had a picture, that's Lara Datta, and that's what I told her after working with her. I was like, I was so intimidated by your aura that you have. You're like the sweetest soul to talk to, but unless and until someone talks to you, they're like, maar to nahi padegi, dant to nahi padegi. But I think such a beautiful person in and out, and I think I will be happy for the rest of my life because now I can say that I played the love interest of Miss Universe.
Yeah. And you're a former sportsman, buddy. So I mean, I'm sure you had lots of questions for Mahesh from
Lots. I actually I've actually spent a lot of time with Leander, and I used to love that. I think the entire country went gaga about that Leander Mahesh कि India represent कर रहे हैं हम लोग, and I so much to talk, so much to know about a very different side of a celebrity that you've idolized, in your life, and such beautiful times. Yeah, I always say when work is fun, it always looks like this.
Yeah.
It's
Well
always
said.
smiley.
So question for you, man. Your under 17, your under 19 teammate Virat Kohli is now a Mumbaikar. Not in the lockdown, obviously, but ever since he moved here, we got a chance to hang out, go to his place, him coming over, things like that.
No, yeah. We haven't had time because I think it's more than me. I think, yeah, I think cricketers. I'm blessed to know a lot of them now personally. But Virat and Shikhar I've known both of them since I was young. But I think their lives are way more difficult than what we perceive. We just perceive the money angle and the fame angle, but they're perpetually, I think, out of because Shikhar actually in Delhi, we used to stay upar niche,
Wow.
like till 6 months back. He just shifted out, so perpetually in a year, 250 to 270 days they were not in their hometown. So there, haven't met him, though we keep talking over social media nowadays. We keep having fun, but yeah, man, that's the only thing. I think वो मुंबईकर बन गया है, but I think his heart will always be in Delhi, just like mine.
Yeah, man. So just out of concern, I mean, how are the folks doing? I see lovely pictures and videos of your beautiful mother.
Yeah.
Is she still in Delhi? You're here alone because of
I'm
the
here.
lockdown?
I'm here alone. My mom and dad are in Delhi. They are also alone. They've been brave. I think my mother's just been ultra brave. I put a post about her. She's reached 20 kgs that she's lost within the lockdown. And I think they're just keeping their thought process in the positive direction, and they understand because both my parents are 60 plus, but I guess they understand the fact that this is it, so you can't fight it, but you can prevent it.
I saw a lovely a video of mom singing. So was Auntie a singer when she was younger? Is that like a catch up to nostalgia? Tell me about that.
Yeah, I've been a little preachy about a lot of things in the past, and this was one of the most important things that I have been, you know, call it preachy or call it very gyani, but I believe in it. I believe, as we grow old, and now that I've been away from my family for 16 years, I was 18. I'm going to turn 34 in a few days, and I feel. Uh, we tend to forget that our parents are growing up when we are growing up and they are growing old. So the small things of when they don't hear something that you've said and you get really pissed about it कि क्या यार 4 बारी पूछ लिया. So I'd read something that तुमने 400 बार पूछा था जब तुम छोटे थे, and
Hmm.
they used to tell it. So I sat down and I thought, what can I do for the two of them? Because I'm 34 almost now. I'm not married. When my mom dad were 34, I was probably 3 years old. So all their aspirations and dreams was to raise me. But I'm sure they had aspirations and dreams before I was born. I have a lot even today. So I just sat down and I thought, what do they like? I realized my mother still sings and she used to love singing every family function. Every New Year, my mom dad would win the best dancer Jodi award. My mother would win best singing. Uh, she would put me to sleep with my favorite songs. So I made her sing that song that was one of my loris, and that was Dil Mein Ek Leher. So I, I told her, would you want to sing? She's like, yeah, I'll sing. So then she didn't know I had created a setup, like a proper music setup where she could actually just go and uh, fulfill her dreams. She enjoyed, she loved it, and I think that's the least we could do.
Beautiful. I'm going to come back to Home Dancer. For those of you who've joined this conversation late, Karan's back doing what he does best, which is being one of the finest anchors this country is known. He's anchoring Home Dancer on Disney Plus Hotstar. It's streaming right now. He's just filmed episode 3, 2 are out already. So Jackie, man, Jacqueline Fernandez, I mean, the moment she enters the room, she brings in, so much happiness. She's just, and irrespective of who you are, whether you're a co-anchor or a spot boy, you get that love from her. Of course, in times of lockdown, it's a lot different. So what is she doing on the show?
See, Jacqueline is there for in the show, though you've not seen too much of her in the
Yeah.
first two episodes. Uh, she's basically how you would how we can put it across as is. She's overlooking the entire show, where she comes every week and she gives you like a homework kind of a step to decode, because Jackie is a fabulous dancer, and such a beautiful person. Yeah, I've known her for years, but I've never got an opportunity to work with her. And that's what I think. The next time when I meet her, I'll say like the first time we worked together, we were in our own respective houses. But she's also there because she also she inspires such a big population out there who just love her for what she is. And I think her love for dance is just being resonated in the show.
Beautiful. So, how are you managing during lockdown, bro? I mean, do you manage to do grocery runs once or twice a week, or is food delivered or groceries, essentials delivered to the building? You go down, bring it up, and sanitize it. I mean, in this lockdown phase, nobody's a celebrity, man. We're all in the same
Yeah,
boat.
man. But I think, yeah, it's good that if celebrities realize that nobody is a celebrity, uh,
Well said.
uh, because yeah, man, like the food and the supplies come below our buildings. Our So that way, is food and groceries and everything is very sorted. We bring it up. I have my gloves, my sanitizers, and everything. I'm glad I still have a cook. Uh, so me and my cook have shared the house cleaning. So he does the cooking, the kitchen, and the drawing room, and I do the bedrooms and the washrooms. Uh, because it also keeps me sane. It also lets me do something. I'm not working out at all. I promised myself that I wanted to see a very different me when lockdown comes, mentally and physically. So I said, let's see. what happens. देखते हैं कि अगर workout नहीं किया तो क्या होगा. I do go out once in say 2 weeks for things that I can't get downstairs. Luckily, we have a chemist shop in the next building, so you can just walk down to the chemist shop and just get things that you probably need. Uh, and I'm just enjoying यार. मुझे literally बताऊं, मतलब ये दुनिया को शायद बहुत अजीब लगे, but मुझे सच्ची में डर लगा यार इस बार. मैं डरता हूँ. I am very scared to go down for a walk when there are 500 people walking. I am very scared to hug people. I'm very scared to shake hands. And I feel it's okay to be scared in these times, because if this is here to last a little longer, and if we have to live with it, then it's better to be safe than sorry.
Well said. One skill that you've picked up during lockdown that you hadn't picked up before this?
Patience. Uh, a lot of it. Also, I honestly today understand why I stopped working just for money. Because I'm very, very happy that I don't have so much now, but whatever I have, I realize that I like it. इससे ज़्यादा चाहिए नहीं. I've become a vegetarian. I've not had any form of meat for the last जब से lockdown हुआ है, and it's just made me more calm.
And why did you do that? You just wanted to try being a vegetarian for some time, is it?
Yeah, I always said that non-veg is the only thing that I can never give up.
Wow.
So I just challenged myself. Let's see if you can or you can't. I have reached a point where I can, because there was a day when my cook said that, "Bhaiya, can we have chicken?" And I said, "Beta, you can eat, but I won't." And he thought I'm just saying it, but I did not because of out of ego, but because I just didn't miss it. So I may not have it, and but I will always take this take this aspect from myself in this lockdown, that if you think it's possible, anything is possible.
So a lot of my bachelor friends are turning around and thinking about marriage during this time in ekant, in lockdown. So has that crossed your mind, saying कि boss,
No.
ये अकेली जिंदगी ठीक है?
अगर एकांत में शादी का ख्याल आ रहा है ना, तो फिर क्या होगा ना, आप फिर एक लॉन्ग डिस्टेंस मैरिज में रहें, क्योंकि एकांत में ही आपको अच्छा लगेगा फिर.
Well said.
I have a girlfriend, and and she's in Chandigarh. I'm here right now. She's with her family. But the entire concept of marriage is not because we're feeling lonely. Yes, I've also decided to adopt a dog, but again, the lockdown doesn't let you do certain things the way you want to. But I feel शादी का ख्याल नहीं आया यार अभी तक, तो मतलब ऐसा कोई ख्याल नहीं आया कि अरे लॉकडाउन हो गया शादी कर लेते हैं. But I really would want to be with my girlfriend. Like I would really want to spend time with her, because I think spend time से अगर ख्याल आए तो कर लो.
Well said. You first came to Bombay because of Remix, isn't it? I mean,
Yeah.
Remix is what brought you here. When you look at that boy, when you look at that Karan and now, what's the biggest difference from the Remix wala Karan to now, personally and professionally?
Yeah, personally, I wish I could be that boy again, and I really wish I could be that boy, because I think in the process of being such a big actor or such a big anchor or a celebrity or a famous guy, I just lost that innocence that Karan Wahi, that 18-year-old Karan Wahi had. Because, I was suddenly, and I was a very protective child. I'm the only child of my parents, and I've been a very protective kid. And suddenly from there, you experience a very different world. But what has changed is that I am I'm more patient, I'm more empathetic, and I'm more okay with criticism.
Awesome.
And professionally, I think professionally, I will whatever I achieve in life, I will always give it to remakes because uh, there were 15 of us in that show, but whatever in that show, what that show gave it to me, and what everything that I've got post remix is just because of remix. So I think they'll be always there.
Karan, this was so much fun, bro. Lots of love.
Thank you, man.
Virtual hugs to you, and I'll give you real ones when the lockdown is over, bro.
Yeah, that's my first thing. People ask me what's the first thing you want to do. I was like, I want to hug people. Yeah.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Take care. Thank you for this.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Thank you,
Bye, bro.
Hrishi. Thanks a lot. Take care, man. See ya.